Hey Tamers, welcome back to Hero Games. It's your boy Red. We're finally in a new era of card games for the Digimon card game in the US. We've hit BT6, lots of new stuff to play with here. We got a lot of new deck videos coming up, and we're going to start with what we played at our locals today. So me being a big WarGreymon fan, this boy is my favorite card. I try to play him in every set I can. It's kind of difficult in this set, I'm not going to lie. I did try doing a WarGrey build with Agumon and Courage on it, and it's just too slow right now. The new decks are so fast. This just wasn't cutting it. So instead, I decided to splice it up with one of the current meta favorites right now, Jesmon. Let's see what we came up with. Alright guys, so first before we get into it, can we admire this beautiful mat, Agumon mat that my wife gave me? I love her so much. She appreciates my Digimon addiction. So starting with our level 2s, we have 4 copies of the new Demimeramon for BT6. Demimeramon, when this Digimon attacks a player, it gets plus 1000 DP for the turn. And as Red, of course, we do like to attack the player a whole lot. We like to get those big security crushes, so we're guaranteeing ourselves that plus 1000 DP to survive those checks. And for our level 3s, we'll start off with the new boy here. We are running 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of Huckmon for the new BT6. Huckmon will be the representative for the Jesmon build here. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add up to 2 Digimon with Huckmon, Jesmon, or Sistermon in their names among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. So this is a great searcher card. It hits a lot of stuff in this deck, especially all the key components here. We can add up to 2 of them, so don't choose too much. There's a few things we can mill, Tamers for example, or any level 7 Digimon. So we do want to be careful when we do play it, but it is a great way to start building up our pieces. Okay, and of course, we're running the red staple here, the starter deck, Agumon. On our turn, our Digimon gets plus 1000 DP for its inheritable. Red always needs to have those big DP so it can survive those big security crushes. We can't take any risks, so all the extra DP we can get is always good. Running 2 copies of Promo Biyomon. Biyomon is pretty useful for Jesmon builds, as we will also be deleting a lot of Digimon through some effects we'll talk about later. When this Digimon deletes one of your opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, trigger draw 1 card. So this is a great way to get a little extra draw power as well. For our last level 3, we are running 3 copies of Sistermon Blanc. So Blanc will be a unique level 3 in that nothing will be evolving off of Blanc, and Blanc will not evolve off anything. We are specifically hard playing these cards or playing them for free. We'll talk about that later. Sistermon Blanc has a on-play effect of draw 1 card, and has a all-turns effect if I have a Digimon with Huckmon or Royal Knight in its name or typing, then all Sistermon gain blocker. And this will be very important coming up here in a little bit. Moving on to our level 4s, we're running 3 copies of BaoHuckmon. BaoHuckmon has an inheritable. If you have a Digimon with Sistermon in his name in play when attacking, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5000 DP or less. So Red finally has a way to start deleting those 1-cost blockers that have been a nuisance to us. The one thing that stops Red from checking a ton of security typically is one little 5k blocker. Not anymore. Now with this new effect here, we can finally start deleting 5ks, whereas before, the most we were deleting was a 4k with our standard inheritables. Next, we are running 1, 2, 3, 4. The red starter deck Greymon is not going away anytime soon. Having the security attack plus 1 on the level 4 is just too good. This will be on probably every red build for the foreseeable future. And we are running 2 copies of Agunimon, just a good tech-in option for any red deck that runs even remotely some tamers. You may Digivolve this card on top of a tamer, which allows us to check when we didn't have any Digimon before. It's a great way to get in a cheeky final hit when it comes up. Our last level 4, we're running another Sistermon. We're running Sistermon Ciel. Sistermon Ciel, we're running 3 copies of those. On play, gain 1 memory, so it becomes a 3-drop level 4. And then all turns, any Digimon with Huckmon or Royal Knight get plus 2000 DP, which is really great for swinging those big DP checks. Next, we are running 4 copies of what is arguably our most important level 5 here, SaviorHuckmon. SaviorHuckmon has a ability when digivolving. You may play 1 Digimon card with Sistermon in the name from your hand without paying its memory cost. So we can digivolve to 3, play Ciel if we want to gain 1 memory, or we can play Blanc, and we now have a blocker and get to draw a card. And of course, Ciel will take that from 7k to 9k. This is where the Sistermons will start affecting the Huckmons and being able to swing at higher DPs earlier, gain memory, be able to play around things. And for our other level 5, we're running 3 copies of MetalGreymon Alterous mode. So this is just a fan favorite tech of mine. I love MetalGreymon. Always got to run on everything I possibly can. This particular one, I would love to have evolve on top of the SaviorHuckmon, so we can get that SaviorHuckmon inheritable for only 1 cost. So once we start getting in those combos, whatever level 3 we have under it, we can swing with the MetalGreymon. Now that we already have a Sistermon from evolving to Savior first. Then, because we have a Sistermon, we unsuspend. We'll be able to either check an extra security that's got Greymon under it, or delete a 5000 DP Digi. So if there's a suspended Digimon, we can swing with this, unsuspend, delete 2 Digimon. This is a great way to start getting some early damage in for only 1 memory on top of the SaviorHuckmon. Now, key note here is that MetalGreymon is no longer a Huckmon or a Royal Knight, so it will not activate any of the Sistermon effects, but it will activate effects for having Sistermon. Important distinction. Now, the Showrunner level 6, of course, we have 3 copies of Jesmon. Should you run 4? Yes, you absolutely should. I don't have 4 copies, so this is where we're at. So Jesmon is the big boss monster of the set. When attacking, you may play 1 Digimon card with Sistermon in its name from your hand or trash. So it doesn't matter if it's in your hand or if it's in your trash. You can play a Blanc or a Ciel. When it is under any of the inheritables, then you'll start unsuspending and you'll start deleting things, do all the stuff we were doing under MetalGreymon here. So Jesmon starts getting off some big board wiping, as well as being able to unsuspend and do it again and check for more security. Not to mention Ciel will bump it up. So that leads me to its second effect. When you play a Digimon, so once you play a Sistermon on the same turn that this is attacking, you will gain 3000 DP for the attack and piercing. So if you play Sistermon Ciel, you'll gain a memory plus 3000 DP plus piercing plus 2000 from this. So your Jesmon has gone up to 16k with piercing, and it unsuspends. That's some pretty good stuff. Now our other level 6, we are running the fan favorite. We're running BT1 WarGreymon. So why I like to tech this one in here, if we get the inheritables built up under it, where we have Greymon, whatever DP razors under it, like so, and we get Alterous mode under it, then when we attack, you have plus 2000 from the MetalGreymon, so it'll be a 13k. If we add in the Agumon and the inheritable, that'll be 15k. 15k, check 3 security, unsuspend, because we have a Sistermon on the field. And his other ability, do not check option cards. So 15k, 3 security, don't activate any option cards as long as we don't hit into a BT1 Omnimon, a Alterous, or a Zwart. Anything that has 15k, we are living. And then we can do it again, check another 3 security. On top of that, we also running 1 tech copy of VictoryGreymon. I like VictoryGreymon, he's cool, he's got a sword. If your opponent moves up their level 5 too early by accident, you can Digivolve to VictoryGreymon, pop 2 sources through Digiburst to delete a Digimon with 8000 DP or less, which is most level 5s and really any level 5 that a person's going to play, and pop their level 5 early. It's a great way to punish people moving up too soon. Now whether you have Jesmon or WarGreymon after you've checked for 2 security and then another 2, or you checked for 3 and 3, we finish out any of our combos by playing BT5 Omnimon. So on Digivolve Blitz and on Digivolve Unsuspend. So once our Digimon have attacked, we can Digivolve again and do another series of swings. And it carries over all of Jesmon's inheritable piercing and DP gains. It also carries over WarGreymon security +1. So whichever level 6 we're going on, Omnimon is inheriting all that stuff on that attack. Plus both Sistermons will trigger, as Omnimon is a Royal Knight. So he'll get plus 2000 DP from this, and then Sistermon Ciel, or Sistermon Blanc, will turn both her and Ciel into blockers. So Omnimon is a great companion card for any Jesmon build, being both a Royal Knight and be able to Digivolve off 5. You definitely want to be pairing these up with your Jesmons. For our option cards, we are running 3 Judgment of the Blade. Judgment of the Blade is a 1-cost companion card to go with the Jesmon. So we evolve in a Jesmon, use its effect to play Ciel. We gain the memory. Now we have 1 memory to be able to play Judgment of the Blade. What it does is one of your Digimon with Huckmon or a Royal Knight in its type, which includes Omnimon, we can swing into a unsuspended Digimon, which is great because then if we're doing it with Jesmon, we get the piercing. Also, Omnimon will get the piercing too, which is fantastic. Next, it's security effect that we may add this card to our hand and also play one Sistermon from hand or trash, which can gain us a memory or draw us a card, get us blocker. So that's a great way to recycle your Sistermons. You love to see this hit in security once you've already gone through some of your Sistermons. Next, we are running 2 copies of A Delicate Plan. This allows us to put BT1 WarGreymon's effect on the Jesmon. It's a 1-cost option card, so the same thing with Ciel applies, where we can play Ciel and have the 1 cost to be able to play it. What this does is option security effects do not activate, so it's a great way for Jesmon to swing in. You're not worried about Hammer Spark, you're not worried about Gaia Force, you're not worried about 3 Musketeer cards. None of those effects will activate. And the final red staple, we're running 2 copies of Gaia Force. This is our hard removal in case we're not in the point where Digimon can hard removal, or if checked in security, this is just a free delete. This is a great way to just, by random chance, hit something in security and your opponent just loses their big boss monster early, ruins their whole day. You love when it happens, except when it happens to you. And finally, we run 3 copies of Tai Kamiya. Tai Kamiya is the first red memory corrector, so we'll get at least 3 memory. And then all Digimon with 4 Digivolution sources under it gain security deck +1. So this will apply to Jesmon, apply to WarGreymon, probably not to VictoryGreymon because we're Digibursting those sources. And it will not apply to Omnimon because he's a white Digimon. But Jesmon, who is our primary go-to, this will definitely give him the extra +1. We get the +1 from the Greymon. We're checking 3 security. It's fantastic. And before we wrap up, I do want to talk about one other tech option. In addition to the Jesmon, there is one other red Digimon that meets all the same qualifiers that Jesmon does, and that is BT2 Gallantmon. And this is probably the next card I'm going to tech in and give it a test run here. We'll have a Lords of Red build. That'll be pretty cool. That sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? I love the idea that this card can do, and I'm shaking the camera. When we get red memory boost, it's going to be even more doable to get around that 4 memory cost. So he's a Royal Knight, so he'll trigger all the Sistermon stuff already. Right, so all this stuff will work with him. But in addition to that, if we have the inheritables under him, like say the SaviorHuckmon, let's say we get everything else under it too, then when he attacks, he'll have security +1, +2, whatever extra stuff we have under it, up to 2 security, but his when attacking effect will trash an additional security for every 10 cards in trash. So you're playing against those decks that like to have those big beefy trash, you're trashing a free security. That's better than checking 3. That's trash 1, check 2. So it doesn't matter how big of a Digimon it is, doesn't matter if it's a tamer, it's an option card, it's an Omnimon's Wort Defeat. It's getting trashed and it's going away. I love that. I love that. That's so fantastic. It's the same DP range as Jesmon before the +3000. So Sistermon Ciel will bump that up to 13k. The other 2 inheritables will get you up to 15k. So you can be swinging around 15k pretty easy with the Gallantmon, doing 2 checks, trash 1, and then because it's on that, it unsuspends, and you do it again. It's another fantastic way to get through the entirety of your opponent's security while having 2 of them just be automatically trashed. I love that effect. I can't believe more people aren't talking about it. But definitely look to see an updated build with Gallantmon coming up soon. I just want to talk about that because I didn't get a chance to really test run it, but I thought about that the other day, and this is a fantastic companion card to go with Jesmon. Alright guys, so that was my BT6 red deck Jesmon build with a little Wargrey splashed in. If you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more Digimon content coming your way in the future. And I'll catch you guys next time.